I wasn't supposed to find her. That forest wasn't even on the map anymore. Beginning, the forest that shouldn't exist. It started with a wrong turn. That's how most important things in my life begin. Mistakes that don't feel like mistakes until much later. I had been traveling alone for months, moving through the outer regions of Earth's protected zones. Most of the planet had been reclaimed by nature after the collapse, but there were still areas marked as unstable, forbidden, unexplored. The forest I entered that day wasn't supposed to be there. My navigation system had glitched hours earlier, showing empty terrain where dense vegetation now stretched endlessly in every direction. Trees taller than anything I had ever seen. Leaves that shimmered faintly, as if reflecting light that didn't exist. And a silence so deep it felt unnatural. I should have turned back. Any trained explorer would have. But I didn't. The sound. It was faint at first, barely noticeable. A soft sound carried through the trees. Crying. I froze. Because there shouldn't have been anyone out there. Not human. Not anything. And yet, there it was again. A child's cry. The discovery. I followed the sound carefully, pushing through thick undergrowth until I reached a small clearing. And that's when I saw her. A child. Curled up at the base of a massive tree, her small frame trembling. She couldn't have been more than a few years old. But something was different. Her skin shimmered faintly, like the leaves around us. Her eyes. They weren't human. They glowed. Softly. Like distant stars. The first contact. I approached slowly. Carefully. Hey, I said gently. It's okay. She looked up. And the moment our eyes met, she stopped crying. Just like that. Her fear vanished. Replaced by something else. Recognition. The choice. You're lost, aren't you? I asked. She didn't answer. Didn't speak at all. Just stared at me. And then, she reached out. Her small hand extended toward me. I hesitated. Every instinct told me this was wrong. But something deeper, something quieter, told me otherwise. So I took her hand. And everything changed. Middle. Raising the unknown. I named her Lyra. Not because she told me her name, but because it felt right. She never corrected me. In fact, she didn't speak at all for the first few weeks. But she learned. Fast. Too fast. Not human. By the time we reached the nearest settlement, it was obvious. She wasn't human. She didn't eat like we did. Didn't sleep like we did. And sometimes, when she thought I wasn't looking, the air around her would shift, like reality itself was adjusting, keeping her safe. I didn't tell anyone. Not the authorities. Not the scouts. Not even the people I trusted. Because I knew what would happen. They would take her, study her, turn her into something she wasn't meant to be. So I kept her hidden, learning together. Over time, she began to speak. At first, simple words. Then sentences. Then questions. So many questions, I muttered one day. She tilted her head. That is how I learned, she said. I smiled. Yeah, I figured. The bond. She started calling me something a few months later. Not my name. Not anything human. But something close enough. Father, she said one evening, testing the word. I froze. Where did you hear that? I asked. You protect me, she said. You teach me. A pause. That is what a father does. I didn't correct her. I couldn't. The change. Years passed. And she grew. Not just physically, but in ways I couldn't understand. Her abilities became stronger. More controlled. She could move objects without touching them. Sense things before they happened. And sometimes, she would look at the stars, like she was remembering something. The truth emerges. It happened on her 12th birthday. I remember, she said suddenly. I looked up. Remember what? My home. The way she said it, it wasn't a guess. It was certainty. The revelation. They are coming, she said. A chill ran through me.
Who?
My people. The arrival. They came 3 days later. Ships filled the sky. Massive.
Silent.
Watching. Waiting. The confrontation. They didn't attack. They didn't threaten. They simply arrived. And then, they sent a message. She must return.
The choice.
I looked at her. You don't have to go, I said. She shook her head. I do. Why? Because they need me. Ending. The return of an empress. The truth came out slowly. She wasn't just one of them. She was their future. Their leader. Their empress. The farewell. I will come back, she said. I smiled faintly. Yeah. She nodded. I always come back. The years without her. Time passed. The world moved on. But I stayed the same. Waiting. Hoping. The return. It happened without warning. The sky lit up again. Ships descended. And, this time, they weren't just watching. They were honoring. The final moment. She stepped forward. Not as a child, but as something more. Powerful.
Confident.
An empress. And yet, when she looked at me, I saw the same girl.
Father, she said.
And just like that, everything came full circle. Closing. I wasn't supposed to find her, but I did. And in doing so, I didn't just change her life. She changed mine. Because sometimes, the smallest moments lead to the greatest destinies. And sometimes, a lost child becomes something more.